Patricia had always dreamed of a life where she could provide her children with the best opportunities. From a young age, she had been determined to rise above her humble beginnings. She worked tirelessly to build a career in banking, hoping to offer her children, Ade and Funke, a better life than the one she had known. Living in Lagos, the heart of Nigeria's commercial world, Patricia's life was a whirlwind of deadlines, meetings, and financial reports. Her husband, Olumide, worked abroad as an IT consultant. The distance between them often left Patricia shouldering the responsibility of raising their two young children, Ade, their 5-year-old son, and Funke, their 3-year-old daughter, alone. She loved her children dearly, but the constant pressure of her demanding job had left her with little time to be the kind of mother she wanted to be. With long office hours and the expectation that she perform at the highest level, Patricia found herself in an impossible situation. It wasn't uncommon for her to wake up early, drop the kids at school, and then head straight to the bank. By the time she returned home in the evening, her children were often already asleep. Patricia could sense something that was missing in her relationship with her children. She missed the moments she should have spent with them, helping them with their schoolwork, playing, or simply talking about their day, but she couldn't find a way to balance it all. To ease her guilt, Patricia hired a young housemaid named Cynthia. Cynthia was a girl from the village, quiet, respectful, and eager to work. She was just 19, fresh from a rural area, and Patricia thought she could trust her to take care of Ade and Funke. After all, she was young, attentive, and came highly recommended by friends. Cynthia promised to keep the children safe and look after them even during Patricia's long working hours. Patricia's mind was at ease, thinking that everything was under control. Little did she know the person she had trusted with her children's well-being would soon betray her in ways unimaginable. At first, everything seemed fine. Cynthia took care of the children during the day, fed them, played with them, and even made sure they took their afternoon naps. The kids seemed content, and when Patricia spoke to them on the phone during the day, they would eagerly report how much fun they had with their auntie, Cynthia. But soon, small things began to catch Patricia's attention. Ade, who had always been talkative and energetic, became withdrawn and quiet. Funke too stopped playing with her toys as much, and she started to exhibit signs of fear and anxiety. At first, Patricia dismissed it as a phase. After all, Ade had just started school and Funke was getting used to being without her mother. But then, one evening, Patricia came home earlier than usual, and what she saw stopped her cold. Cynthia was sitting on the couch with Ade, her hand placed too firmly on his knee. Ade was staring at the floor, his small body stiff. Funke was sitting next to them, looking down at her lap. "Is everything okay, Cynthia?" Patricia asked, her voice tight with sudden concern. Cynthia smiled warmly, though it didn't reach her eyes. "Oh yes, ma'am. Ade was just having a tantrum earlier, but we've calmed down now." Patricia noticed how Ade flinched at the sound of her voice, as though afraid of being reprimanded. Something didn't sit right in her stomach, but she decided not to press it further. She told herself it was just the stress of work making her overthink things. However, over the next few days, things began to worsen. Ade would cry at night, clutching his stuffed animal tightly. But whenever Patricia tried to comfort him, he would refuse to talk about what was wrong. Funke too started to show signs of distress. She would wet the bed occasionally, something that had never happened before, and when Patricia tried to ask her what was going on, Funke would simply shake her head and look away, her little face pale and filled with fear. The tipping point came when Patricia caught Cynthia speaking to the children in a way that sent chills down her spine. One morning, as she walked past the kitchen, she overheard Cynthia's voice, low and threatening. "You better not tell anyone about what happens here," Cynthia whispered harshly. "If you do, I will make sure you regret it. I know where you sleep, and I can make sure you never feel safe again." Patricia's heart stopped. She didn't know what exactly was going on, but she knew something was terribly wrong. Her gut was telling her that her children were in danger, but she didn't yet know how to prove it. The next few days were a blur of mounting suspicion. Patricia tried to confront Ade and Funke, but both children remained tight-lipped, their eyes filled with fear. Ade's behavior was the most telling. He had become more reclusive, avoiding his mother and retreating into himself. He would flinch whenever Cynthia came near, and he would look at his mother with an expression that said, "Please don't make me say anything." Patricia was devastated. She was losing touch with her children, and she had no idea what was happening when she wasn't home. It became clear to her that Cynthia's behavior was something more sinister than just poor child care. But Patricia had no proof, nothing concrete to show that her suspicions were anything more than paranoia. Desperate Patricia decided to take a bold step. Late one night, after the kids had gone to bed and Cynthia had left for the evening, Patricia installed a small CCTV camera in the living room. It was a decision born from a deep maternal instinct that she couldn't ignore. If something was truly happening to her children, she had to know. She couldn't wait any longer. The next few days felt like an eternity. Patricia was consumed by worry, unable to concentrate at work, her thoughts constantly drifting back to the camera she had secretly set in her home. Then, one day, as she sat at her desk in the bank, her phone buzzed. It was a notification from the CCTV app. She held her breath as she opened the footage, praying she was wrong. What she saw nearly made her collapse. The footage revealed Cynthia's horrific action. Cynthia was seen coercing Ade into inappropriate situations, using force and manipulation to break his spirit. She had cornered him in a way that made him fear for his safety. She often brings Ade inside the room and goes intimate with the little boy. She often punishes the little boy when the boy complains he's tired. In another clip, Funke was sitting quietly looking at the floor as Cynthia verbally threatened her, forcing her to do unspeakable things. She would lie on the bed and make Funke to lick her private parts. She punished them when they don't do it well as she wanted. Sometimes she even eats their meal and gives them only water. The cruelty was unimaginable. Patricia's heart shattered as she watched her children suffer, their innocent faces twisted in fear. The camera had captured it all. The proof was irrefutable. Patricia's hand shook as she watched the footage. The feeling of betrayal and horror was overwhelming. Her mind raced. How could she have missed this? How could she have trusted someone so utterly evil to care for her precious children? Without wasting another moment, Patricia called the police. They arrived at the house within the hour. Cynthia was arrested without resistance, her false mask of innocence falling away as she was led out of the house in handcuffs. The police had already seen enough from the footage to charge her with child abuse, molestation, and gross misconduct. The aftermath of the arrest was a difficult journey for Patricia, Ade, and Funke, shaken by trauma, and the healing process was long and painful. They attended therapy to help them cope with what had happened, and Patricia spent every moment she could by their side, doing everything in her power to rebuild their trust and help them feel safe again. Though the road to recovery was long, Patricia found strength in the love she had for her children. Every day she told herself she would protect them, no matter what. She would never again let anyone take advantage of their vulnerability. Patricia had to quit her job to spend more time with her kids and take good care of them. As for Cynthia, she was eventually convicted and sentenced to a long prison term. Her betrayal would haunt Patricia for the rest of her life, but she vowed to turn the pain into something meaningful. A fierce, unyielding protection of her children and the lessons she had learned about trust, vigilance, and the need to always listen to her instincts. Though the scars of the past would never fade completely,